Hey guys, welcome to Living in South Florida Does Not Suck. This is Andrew Burr from the Andrew Burr Group at the Kai's Company. We can't wait to get started. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Living in South Florida Does Not Suck. Today, my guest is Jennifer Schillace. She is the general manager of the Kai's Company Wellington offices right here in Wellington, Florida. And, we just want to find out a little bit more about you so everybody at the office can know, right?
Thank you.
So basically, the first question I always ask is, where are you from originally? What brought you to South Florida?
Great. First of all, I just want to correct my title. It's District Sales Manager of the Wellington office.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Just to be clear.
My apologies.
But thank you.
I'm very not good at titles.
Thank you. I just wanted to be clear on that.
My fault.
So I am originally from a small town in outside of the city of Buffalo, New York, called Hamburg. It's not far from the Orchard Park Stadium where the Bills play. So, of course, I'm a Bills fan.
Nothing wrong with that.
Got here July 4th, I believe it was 1995.
July 4th. Any particular reason for that day, or
just landed here that day?
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've been around a while.
I've been around. I feel like I'm more of a Floridian, but always going to be a Buffalonian at heart.
Yeah. No, that's. I mean, honestly, I don't know. I gave up on Maine when I left Maine. I've been a Floridian for 30-something, how many years.
Yeah.
I don't feel like a Maine anything at all.
Right.
But Buffalo, we had somebody else on there. Who did we have from Buffalo? We had somebody else on there who was from Buffalo. Okay. All right, so I have to ask you this, since we're not going to start in Florida. What's your take on buffalo wings?
I love anything buffalo food. We have so much good food there.
You got wings and beef on whack. What else do you have?
Oh, gosh. I mean, the pizza there is just to die for.
Really?
And just... You can get really good subs and rolls, and it's just everything tastes better.
What's all that? So, the hometown food. It's like
and Polish. So you get Polish sausage, all kinds of that kind of Polish food.
Yeah, I mean Buffalo was very much steel town back in the day, and then now it's, I don't know, they call it Rust Belt or whatever, but it's had quite a resurgence lately, hasn't it?
It's doing really well, and a lot of up and coming stuff going on there. They've changed the whole waterfront, which was the Bethlehem Steel.
Now it's like up and coming little.
It's amazing. There's kayaking and boating and all kinds of fun stuff going on.
All right. So the last question on the wings though, are you the anchor in or the other guy that did the Mojo sauce or whatever it was?
I don't know that one. There's Barbell and there's a lot of good ones, but Barbell is a pretty high contender as well as Anchor Bar. So
because the guy that did the Mumbo sauce or whatever it was, and then the Anchor. Those are the two that say that they were the first ones. That's what I was wondering. It's all good, but
they're
all right.
Good.
Well, I'll tell you what. Right now, buffalo wings are like one of the most consumed products in the United States. So you did good. But let's get back to Florida.
But definitely blue cheese, no ranch. Sorry, you're not.
Well, that blue cheese was I think that was the original, like blue cheese, celery, and then the sauce. Like that was it.
You gotta eat blue cheese with wings.
All right. Well, I won't eat blue cheese with anything, ladies and gentlemen. So you can have my blue cheese anytime we have wings together. But let's get back to Florida. So when you arrived on Independence Day in South Florida, was it right to Wellington? Was it somewhere else in Florida, or
I was. I landed in Delray Beach, and that's kind of where I started my journey. And fast forward, I had moved into Lake Worth at one point, and then into Wellington.
Okay, so you did so when you moved into Delray Beach, that was when Lake Worth was cool.
Yeah.
And then Delray got cool right after you left.
Right.
Is there any correlation to that, or just kidding? Because 95, that's about when it was really starting to really pick up over there.
Yeah.
And I still love Lake Worth. I mean, I love Delray too. Delray now though, it's just it's downtown. I mean, like you get east, man, it's busy.
It's really
There's a lot of people there.
It's really city compared to what I remember. Oh, yeah. I mean, even now when I drive down and when I look at it, I'm like, I get lost down here.
And I'm gonna go out and say it. Delray's a little bougie now. Delray is very fancy. There's some really fancy stuff down there. Matter of fact, when we got to dinner now, we used to, you go to West Palm or do whatever. There's a couple places out here in Wellington, but now we go to Delray quite a bit. There's some really cool places in Delray. But so then Lake Worth, and then now out in Wellington, obviously. So what is, and we're going to get to certain questions, but what is your favorite thing about living in South Florida? What is it the thing, like if it was the one thing that you had to tell the people in Buffalo, this is why you need to move to South Florida, what would it be?
I always said when I moved here, and I didn't realize it, when you live in like a place that's cold most of the time, and you have like 4 months out of the year that maybe have sun,
Right.
that, you know, you realize how much more day is in your life and months in your year. And it sounds crazy,
just
but
happiness,
it's just continuous, and you get so much more enjoyment.
I agree. That's, you know, so we lived, when we were back in DC, because we moved back from Florida to DC, my wife and I, for a job that I got offered. And within, I don't know, a year, we're just like, what is the problem? Like, what is the deal? And it was, you know, probably like February or something. And it was just dark.
Yeah.
I mean, forget the cold and all. That's all, you know, and there's no redeeming value of the weather around DC, by the way. It's just all slush and crap. I mean, it's not, you know, it's not even fun to play in. But it was just dark for like, even during the day, it was dark. It just wasn't, you know, we didn't have that sunshine.
Yeah.
And we just were getting depressed, and it took us 4.5 years to finally decide to move back down. But yeah, it's great. It's amazing. It is the warmth, and it is the weather, and it is the sun. But it's more for me, a lot more for me. And you're one of the first people that's ever brought this up. It's the more psyche side of it that I get depressed when it's dim and dark.
Yeah.
Like if we get rain for a whole day here, I'm like, oh man, this sucks.
It's like a snow day, you know. I feel like it's one of those days you just want to lay in bed and rest. But then you're like, okay, I want to go take a walk. I got to go outside.
So that's interesting. And like I said, you're one of the first people that has brought that particular aspect up. Everybody's like, oh, it's sunny and whatever, and it is. But cool. So the sun. So we talked about the sun. So that leads to my second question, which I always ask people. So when you're out in the sun, how often do you go to the beach here in South Florida, since you live right down the street from the beach?
You know what? I hate to say it, I'm not a beach person, but I love going to see the sunrise or sunset, like as much as I can. It's just my zen. I love to start a day or end a day that way. Right. And that's where I'd spend my time, you know? It's
not an unusual answer. I mean, Chalo, what do you think? Like half of 50-50 people are like, nah, not a beach person. I'm there all the time, one of the two. I mean, so it's, you know, a lot of times what happens is when you first get down there, Independence Day, July, like, yeah, let's go to the beach. We're in Florida. And then you're like, sand, some sweat. Nah, I'm not interested, you know, swallowing salt water or stuff like that. You know?
I'd much rather be on a jet ski or something than be on a beach.
Well, there you go. So that's, and that's me for sure. Like on the water, in the water, absolutely. Yeah. Beach, not so much.
Right.
You know, it's just not my thing. Now, we get a lot of people that do love it. And the people that do, they're there all the time. That's awesome. If I want to go, and really the only time I ever go to the beach, at least here, is if people are down and they're like, hey, let's go to the beach, and it's we're entertaining. But other than that, I can pass on the beach. And down in the Keys, where my other house is, we don't really have beaches except for my neighborhood. We actually put sand on our beach, and so it's kind of cool because it's small. It has a fence and a gate, so only a certain amount of people can get in and all that. That makes it really nice. But in general, not a beach person. So. Not a beach person. So when what's your number one like sort of recreational activity that you enjoy doing? If you're not working, which you do all the time.
As soon as I'm done, I'm out walking or working out. I get outside because I'm inside all day at the office. Usually there at 8:15 to over after 5 or whatever, and I just want to get outside. I'll take a 2-mile, 3-mile walk, and that's my calm down, peacetime, just relax.
Any sports like golf or tennis or anything like that? Or
I wish I could say I had time for it. I've
never learned. I know. Everybody.
Maybe someday when I retire, I don't know, but I don't have time for any of that stuff.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, hey, listen, that's part of
I'd rather get on a bike or walk or do something than
right. So we used to bike a lot. I don't know. I haven't. But COVID made that weird. Like I don't know why. Because we used to bike all the time, just not really go anywhere. Just we go around the neighborhood or maybe a local park because we got so many parks and stuff around. And then COVID just, I don't know, put a stop to almost all that. I mean, honestly, we used, it was just really weird. It was a weird time. And then like everybody in the neighborhood, like you would be, and then everybody, like the people who've been living in the same neighborhood for 20 years would start moving to the other side of the street and stuff.
Yeah.
It just felt really weird, like awkward. So we were like, Yeah. And I don't know, but so it's been a long time.
I live in the vicinity of a lot of stores, and restaurants, so it's easy for me to just after work I go out. I'll walk to a Whole Foods or any of those stores, pick up my dinner, and walk back home.
Right on. Yeah, no, look, and that's one of the nice. So let's talk about that because if you'd stopped here, you said 95, right?
Came here in 95.
So if you'd have stopped here anywhere in Wellington in 95, You weren't walking to nothing.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't nothing. I mean, there was, but I mean, it wasn't nothing, absolutely nothing like it is
We thought
now.
it was the boondocks.
It was the boondocks.
You know,
this was out. This was like you went through a bunch of farms, cow farms, everything else, and then if you got lucky, you found the right entrance into Wellington, and it was armadillo pastures and stuff, and then but there wasn't a lot here at all because that it was about probably the first time. Well, no, a little earlier than that when I first came out to Wellington, but whatever. But it was very, very. It was the boondocks. I mean, it wasn't like we didn't think of it as it was the boondocks, and there was nothing. So we have now, and not just Wellington, obviously, but all of South Florida. Like you said, when you moved into Delray, I mean, I'm sure there were still the Motorola plant had to still have been there. The cow pastures on Military and stuff. And all. I mean,
exactly where the Target is, I think now.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, and it's a totally different world. So. How do you feel about, I don't know, the Florida you moved into and the Florida today? I mean, some people have mixed feelings on it. I mean, do you got any general feelings about the way you feel about what it was and what it is?
You know what? I love it. I it's always growing and evolving, and it's exciting. It's there's always something to do in any direction that you drive, whether you're going 2 hours east or an hour south or north, like, You can't not run into something any day of the week, even on the weekends, or farmers markets and fairs or whatever we have going, and festivals. So it's exciting, and I think watching Wellington grow, and then the other areas we have now, Westlake, and I mean that exploded.
Wow. Yeah.
Right, and Loxahatchee and all that was the
Arden
back then.
I mean, Arden was when they, and the funny thing is people go, Arden, wow, that's way out there, but they'll go, yeah, Westlake, I'll go there. I'm like, it's actually further to Westlake than it is to Arden from Wellington.
Yeah.
I mean, it just is. It's but the perception is it's out there at 20 Mile Bend. It's out in the middle of nowhere. Right. But a lot of people love it. It's the concept of Arden itself is wonderful. Like, people love the agri-hood, and the kids it's really it's a really good place for families, actually. But if you want to hear about Arden, go on to Living in South Florida Does Not Suck. Actually, you got to hit the YouTube. I don't know if it's on the podcast too or not, but go to Real Estate Only and check out the Arden video I did not long ago. Good. But yeah, it's incredible how it's grown. And we one of the topics that comes up often now is food, and like how the food has changed. We had Charlotte had a little bit with almost everybody has a little bit about how the food has changed, because back then, I mean, you got Florida food, right?
Right.
You got fish on the whatever, and you got basic stuff, and there were a couple of very few nice restaurants, but now we got every chef from New York has got a place down here. Guy Fieri lives more, I think, in Lake Worth than he does in California anymore. Like, it's a whole, like, the food scene here has just exploded like mad. Is there any like favorite? What's your favorite? If somebody else is paying too, like, you don't even got to worry about paying. Where's the place you want to go?
I love a good food truck, to be honest with you, or a dive bar. Cool. Where you just go in and it's very low key, and sometimes you get the best food in there, and anything seafood. There's so many infusions with. You get into a food truck and you could be looking at Mexican food, but they have infusions of other things.
Yeah, that's true, and
So I've gotten to try what I really like is I've tried everything that I possibly can. I
like trying new foods and stuff like that.
Yeah, I just love it.
Yeah, and that's the nice thing about the food scene now is that we have a ton of different options, because, like I said, it used to be pretty. I mean, it was either Floridian what type things, and you had Okeechobee Steakhouse if you wanted Rain Dancer. Is Rain Dancer even there anymore? I don't know, but Rain Dancer. Yeah. But those were like the two fancy places, and other than that, you really didn't have much. But now you got. Ballood and all these other guys coming down and doing their super high-end stuff. And I'm a foodie. I mean, I was a chef in a previous life and whatever, and I love food. And I actually kind of know what I like and I don't like at this point, so I don't like to try everything. Okay. But what I like, I love, and if it's done well, it's amazing. Yeah. Right now, currently, our favorite spot is going down to the Bend, to the Grit, and I can remember the name of the thing, Grit and Grunts or whatever the hell it is downstairs. They have like a bar area with like dining, and they have hanging bacon, and it's amazing. It's you can tell I'm slim, right? You see my physique, but yeah, and it's literally they got these little things that they hang the bacon on, and then the bacon drips onto this cornbread
Oh gosh.
concoction that's down. It's
You can feel the calories
amazing,
coming
man.
on as you're talking about
Well,
it.
exactly. Yeah, that's why I'm fat. But I tell you what, I eat good. Yeah, and the funny thing is, like, now there's so many choices that we can, like, where do you want? And it's like, I don't know. There's so many choices. Before it was, I mean, actually Highlight was awesome. Well, now we're going way back to when Highlight was still here.
Right.
And we were pretty, I was comparatively broke to what I am now. Highlight was awesome because you go down to Highlight on 45th and you get like veal scallopini with asparagus and whatever, like a nice meal. And, I could have a couple beers. My wife could have a drink. 30-something bucks.
Right.
As long as you had to gamble.
Right.
So yeah, it was like a $5 minimum or something. Yeah. You had to bet $5. I'm like, I bet $5 all day lately. In the Highlight, nobody knows how to bet on it anyways. You're just like, oh, the guy in the purple thing. Yeah, let's go with that.
Yeah.
So, actually, some people do know. I have no idea how to bet on it, but we used to go down there all the time. That was great. Because that was actually one of the places where you could get a great meal. And the track, too, down at the dog track.
Right.
But times have changed.
Yep.
So, you have, and I don't know why I don't know this, but I know you have at least one daughter, right?
I do. Mm-hmm.
And is she still in Florida? Or
She is. Yeah.
And what does she love? Do you know, what does she do down there? Is anything that
She is living and working in Delray right now.
Oh, she went to your old stomping ground.
Yeah, she did not go the real estate route, so
No.
that's okay.
Well, that's good. And is she in sports and stuff? Was she in sports? I guess when you were because
No.
a lot of people talk about the kids and they're all on these travel baseball leagues and whatever,
No,
which I can't imagine.
I really I couldn't. I worked. I raised her, and I never missed an event or a field trip. Like I planned my schedule around it to be able to be at every function for her, whether it was a birthday or. She did dance for a while, recital and stuff.
Okay.
That was one of the great things about real estate, but
the flexible.
but no,
Well,
fortunately, she wasn't in for me. She wasn't in one of those traveling things because
my daughter hated and still hates sports. Like we tried to get her out there and play soccer and stuff. She'd sit around and chase butterflies, and then the ball would come there, and she'd just watch it go by, and I'd be like, she's like, I don't want to do this. Okay, and then I don't think. Well, she was always into acting and stuff like that.
Oh,
She actually went to G-Star School of the Arts and all this kind of stuff, and she's really still kind of into that. But she's got a burgeoning career now, and like everything else,
Nice.
that kind of falls wayside. But she could give a crap less about any sport. She just never. And then if like I remember I don't want to say it was softball one time. And she was like, oh, okay, yeah, I kind of like it. And then we were like, wow, this is amazing. It lasted about 2 weeks.
I would say she's probably graceful. I'll call it graceful, like me, where I'm pretty klutzy. So
she's actually pretty athletic. I mean, and she swims. She's a swimmer. She's in the water all the time. But she's just never got the competitive urge, I guess, or whatever. Just didn't really give a crap. And she would be over there drawing, like literally they're in the thing. She's over there. And we look over, what is she doing? She's over there drawing on her little notebook instead of paying attention to the coach.
Right.
So that didn't last very long. But there is the opportunity if you're down here for year-round sports and stuff like that. So that's great. What the hell was I going to say? I want to push one of these buttons, Sally. Which one should I push? I just found out that these buttons actually make noise, like last week or last session. Let's see what the top left one does. Rock and roll. Oh, intro. It's not my intro, though. I have to push it again for it to turn off? Genius. I just want to do that because I just literally learned that they work. Somebody else was like, oh, and they pushed the button. I'm like, holy shit, it actually has a button. It says something, but I'm too blind.
Applause. I like the
Where's applause? Which one is that? I'm too blind to read. That one?
Yeah.
Hey, there we go. Everybody needs a little bit of applause in their life. All right, so now that we're done with my little ADD moment, so let's go to a little bit of professional stuff because you were a realtor for a very, very long time, and then now you became, what's the title again? Because I should know this because I actually work in her office, but
I'm the district sales manager. So I run the Wellington office.
All right, cool. And yeah, Kai's is, those of you that know this podcast know that I just moved to Kai's a couple months ago. Super happy there. We're actually going to do a sort of real estate only, real talk thing, and a little bit about this new military on the move program, which is amazing. Be able to give 20% off of or 20% of my commission actually to anybody that buys or sells with me. That's military, frontline, police, firefighter,
Excellent.
medical. It's crazy, and you combine that with Hometown Heroes, it's the bomb. So, and actually, Greg Hooks is going to be here in a couple minutes, and we're going to do that when we're done here.
Perfect.
But so, how long have you been the district? Whatever you just said.
Salesman.
Yeah.
I've been doing that for it's going on 2 years now.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, and so everybody, I will say, and I don't know if I've told you before, but you have an excellent reputation, like everybody. And I'm not talking about within the company either. I'm talking about other companies and other people that we deal with, and they're always like, "Oh, you work over there with Jennifer." I'm like, "Yeah, she's great."
Thank
whatever.
you.
And you do. You have at least a lot of the people that have been around real estate for a while know who you are, and they all just have a high opinion of you. So that's awesome. And so far, we can't be happier. The team can't be happier with you.
I'm very thrilled to have you and your team here.
So what is the thing that you're most excited about Kai's right now? What is the one most the thing? Not you can't do everything, but the one most exciting thing that's going on with Kai's Wellington right now.
I'm just growing the office. And our
leaps and
market
bounds,
share is,
leaps and bounds.
Just our listings and the sales and just all of the marketing that everyone's doing. It just is really, really growing what we have in the area and the recognition. So I'm excited for new opportunities for other agents that want to come on board with us and join. We have an amazing family there. It's a great team.
Absolutely. And Jennifer's information will be up there wherever Chala puts it somewhere. So if you want to get in touch with her, do we do it at the end or the beginning or both? Both. Yeah, so at the beginning or the end. So you got to go to either one. But and then you're also at the end, you're going to do the thing where it says, please subscribe with the little bell thing, ding, ding, ding. So when there's a new episode and you never miss one of these. So, all right, that's our little segue onto that. There was one thing, and I'm not going to belabor the Kai's thing too much because this is really about South Florida, but can we talk to Mr. Pappas and see if we can get him to change his name to Keys? Because that's what everybody thinks it is.
Kai's like ties. That helps you remember.
Yeah, K-E-Y-E-S. K. Yeah, so I knew it was Kai's. I didn't know it was Kai's. I've been in this business for a decade and a half, and I didn't figure out it was. I always thought it was Keys until maybe a couple of years ago, too. Yeah. But anyways, Kai's, shout out to the skies. That's what I told my teams because they can't remember. It's all good. All right, so let's get back to South Florida. So we are now in the dog days of summer, as they say, and it's hot. It's freaking hot everywhere in the freaking United States right now. Buffalo right now is like blazing, right? Like up in Canada, it's blazing hot.
Yeah.
What was the one thing about coming down here that you disliked the most? Because everybody has something that they didn't like, and you can't say no. I didn't really. There had to be something you didn't like.
Well, it's not the weather, and it's certainly not the heat. I love the hot. I mean, I grew up in Buffalo, but I definitely knew I was a Florida child when I got here. I should have been born here, but I of course miss my family. They're still all up there, and I have one brother here, and my sister-in-law and the kids and stuff. But it's hard, when you can't get up there when you need to, or you want to go more than you can. It's challenging, you know.
This is true. I mean, we brought everybody with us, I'd like to say, which is, what a lot of people do. Like, it seems like one person gets to Florida and then all of a sudden the whole family ultimately follows. Although it doesn't happen all the time, like in your case. Right. But right now, like we're going to go up to Maine next week. Unfortunately, my father passed away over the New Year, which we talked about on here before, and we're going to go put his ashes in the river. Right. There's two people in the entire extended family. Two people, it's outside of one of his cousins. That's it. Everybody else is down here.
Wow.
Now, most of the Maine family is all on the West Coast, which typically is what happens. Like we used to have like the, Maine to the West Coast, and then New York to the East Coast, and then we never used to Michigan. If we got Michigan, they were West Coast for sure.
Right.
Now we got a lot of Michigan East Coast. We never had California. California is East Coast, but now it's kind of crazy the way that the flows down has changed. And a lot of people that used to go to Texas are now coming to Florida. And I don't know, it's just really weird. It's interesting though. Yeah. But here in South Florida, we're doing just fine. Still got a ton of people wanting to come down here.
Absolutely.
And honestly, and I'm from Maine originally, at Bangor, but north of where most Canadians live. But when I first got down here, it was summertime. I don't remember the exact whatever. But the thing that I remember I loved the most was when I got down here, it felt different. Like just felt different on your body.
Yeah.
It smelled completely different. Like it was like